Mr. Kingsley Ben-adir, you did a great job.
Big up yourself.
I thought that they needed a Jamaican person to embody Bob Marley. If I've heard reviews, for example, people saying that um, Jamaica doesn't have we don't have actors that could play the role of Bob Marley. I don't believe so. I don't know why they chose Kingsley Ben-adir, but I think they made the right choice. I still wish I sent in my application.
Yeah, no, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah, I snoozed
But
and I lost.
you were missing a criteria.
What?
I think the actor had to be mixed. They wanted someone that's mixed or has the complexion as mixed. Because for you, they would have to do a lot of work on your complexion. You'd be
You think so?
Yes.
In what way? I need to be dark. I need to be
Lighter.
lighter.
Your skin needs to be lighter.
But to be honest, Davian, like there's not much difference between me and Bob Marley's color.
There is a lot of difference.
The difference is me hairy, and you gotta see my hair, for example.
We're back again, the Yaadman podcast. Today we're gonna give you another podcast. It's Davin and Tonil, but we're not gonna finish this one fast.
No.
If you need to skip ahead, skip ahead. This one, I don't think we want to be short about it. So tune in. It might be 1 hour, it might be 2,
It might be even 3.
and it might be even 4. But
Depends.
we'll be back. If anything, if it goes too long, we'll split it in a few, just so you can get the full impact. And as you can tell, we're very excited today.
Let's get a
We're
scratch
there.
with
We're ready.
Woo.
I think a lot of people, a lot of our friends here in Spain have been asking about the Bob Marley movie and to see if we can share her thoughts on it. So yesterday, we journeyed all the way to Alicante to watch
Alicante to see this movie because Murcia, they didn't have it in Voce. Voce, for those who don't know, is the original version with Spanish subtitles, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't have that here in Murcia, so we had to journey to another town close by.
Yep.
An hour away, right?
Yeah, which is a bit annoying. Like, this is arguably one of the biggest releases this year, and in Murcia there was no showing in English as well. This is also why the podcast episode is being delayed. You know, the movie would probably be out 2 weeks before we drop this one. But we made it work, and, you know, when life gives you struggles, you know, you just have to overcome them. And we went there. It was a good day, a journey. And I think going there probably was better because Alicante has more international people there. And as you can see, we will be showing you a couple Vox Pop interviews that we've done of people through the interview. But this is us before we watch the movie.
Today, we're in theaters waiting patiently to see the Bob Marley One Love movie. We don't know what to expect, so we're here, you know, hoping that the movie is good and it shows a good picture of what Bob Marley really is like.
Optimistic.
Yeah. Looking forward to a lot of Bumbo clads. What you say, David?
Let's see. I'm going here in like a blank slate. Nothing. I'm giving this movie the best. I don't want to go in there with any preconceptions or anything. This movie, just do your thing and impress me.
Please.
Impress me. Don't let me down. Can't handle it. What are your thoughts? What do you think it will be like?
I think this will be a good picture of what is like, was like, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope it tells a full story.
Yeah. What do you mean by the full story? What do you want?
Like the nitty-gritty, the details, not just a general picture. I want him to go into some things that actually happened to give some clarity.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, Bob had such a big life and such a big impact. You want them to tell from, like, you want it like a traditional biopic from birth to end. Like,
no.
Or you want, like, them focus on, like, a key point and this zoning on that.
Not only one key point, but some key points. For example, I'd like them to talk about what happened when the Wailers band disbanded. Why did they disband, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the conflicts that actually happened. Mm-hmm. I'd like to know the real story between Bob and Rita.
Yeah.
The love story.
You want to know the love story. Do you have any predictions?
I think they will give a good like overview of what happened. Mm-hmm. I think they will. But as I said, They will always give an overview, but I want them to go into the nitty gritty
Mm-hmm.
of what actually happened.
Yeah, but like you have the movie is what 1 hour and a half. Like you
Yeah,
can't really go into the nitty gritty in an hour and a
that's
half.
why I'm
Like
hoping.
you're hoping.
That's why I'm hoping.
Okay. What's one thing
Yeah.
that if you don't see in the movie, that means that the movie is not the movie for you?
If I don't see, for sure, if I don't see when Bob got shot,
Okay. Iconic.
if I don't see, for example, his concert there in England in the Rainbow Theatre,
Okay.
which was his most famous concert.
More famous than the Zimbabwe one and the One Love?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This
Yeah?
one was the most well documented in terms of quality, and he was at his prime in that time. So, you know,
Okay.
it'd be good if they show that. Also, the conflict between him and Peter Tosh. Because you know that they were at their odds when Peter left the Wailers. Peter had a lot of things to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hope they at least show something
Sure,
like this in the film.
Yeah, but do you think that they will do that though? Like, because picture me, Ziggy producing this. If I'm
Yeah.
producing a movie about my dad's life, I will try. I'm biased already.
Yeah.
I will not want to put certain things that paints him in a negative light. Do you think that they will be objective and put all those things about Bob that just was negative as well? Because no man is perfect.
No man is perfect. I hope they do. But as you said, he has a reputation that they don't want to tarnish. So
Yeah.
they might not include some things.
Okay.
They might try to paint him in the light that the world knows him.
Yeah.
But let's see if they include some
Yeah.
controversial things that happens in his life.
Because for me personally, like I like when a movie shows the struggle between the light and the darkness, and then the darkness comes out and the darkness loses and the light shines bright.
True.
Like what are some of the demons that Bob was facing, you know?
Some of the demons.
Yeah. What are some of those things that
Yeah.
made him into the man that he is? Because it's a struggle that carves you, you know?
Well, first of all, being a Rasta, producers didn't want to produce in Jamaica. You had to be running after producers to even get your talent to be seen.
Yeah.
You know, they want any Rastas in their studios. That's why Bob even made Tough Gun studio because of that.
There's even the story. I don't think they will even include it. Like, there was a point where they had to even threaten DJs to play music.
There was even something that happened with his manager. His manager was ripping him off with money.
Yeah, that's
you know about that?
Yeah, that's music business. Embezzling from
Yeah.
him. That's as in, and then you see another side that when you saw like Bob was a peaceful man, but Bob knew how to be militant.
Yeah, man.
You know, like
Rasta don't mean that you're a coward. Rasta don't mean that you is an idiot to make people rip you off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You preach peace, but self-defense is there as well.
Oh, and fighting for what is mine.
Exactly.
Don't take what is mine just because I'm peaceful.
Exactly.
I'm a lion. A lion can be cool and it can also be fiery.
True. And what do you think about the cast though? Like, you think
the cast?
You're optimistic, or
I'm optimistic because I think the cast was well chosen. You know, for the first, as I said in episodes earlier, it was the first time I've seen that they actually chose a lot of people from Jamaica to play the roles of certain like important figures in Bob Marley's life. For example, they chose a Jamaicans for the whole band, except Jamaicans for the whole band. The I3s, the drum player Aston Barrett, Family Man on the bass. Bobby, Bobby's Trinidadian. Mr. Kingsley Ben-adir.
Let's see.
But
I'm
cultural still. I heard in the previews that I saw, took the accent well, you know. Let's see what he does in the movie.
I've been watching his interviews and it seems like he was well invested.
Exactly.
Let's just hope it comes out that he has done a good job.
Yeah,
and the right story of Bobby is told. But we're gonna cut back and just remember to subscribe to the podcast. And we're gonna zoom in and we're gonna jump back to the couch right now, and you're gonna see us after the movie talking about it. Probably that totally different outfit, but let's see how it goes.
This is it.
So basically, our expectations prior to the movie, we were just discussing them, seeing which ones are good and what we wanted to see from them. And we also got we also met this Australian guy, a very nice guy, Gunter. Thank you so much. He also showed us some of his pre-movie expectations since he's a day one Bob Marley fan. He's a really big fan, and this was his expectation from day one. And we're here with Gunter.
Günther, correct.
Yep. Gunter from Austria, who has flown all this way to see the movie.
It would be too
Yeah,
much. I live
yeah?
here. I
You-
live
you
in
live-
Spain. I live here in Spain, yes.
Okay. And Gunter, I just want to know basically, what are your expectations of this movie?
I don't have any expectations because I like to see it first and then see if it's the true story or if it's a little bit of a made-up movie what have not much to do with his life. I did not read any critical. I did not know nothing. So I'm just open to see what the movie presents about Bob Marley the Prophet.
Bob Marley the Prophet. That sounds like you are a big fan coming into this, the dreads and everything. What made you become a fan of Bob Marley? What was that turning point that made you realize that Bob Marley is the prophet, as you said?
When I got first along with Bob Marley when I was very young, 15 years, what's 50 years ago now.
Wow.
I went in a record shop and there was the Kaya album. And because, of course, I liked the album with his spliff on the Kaya album and say, well, I will listen to that, no? And I listened to it and I liked the music and bought it and took it home. And since then I was buying one album after another. And first of all, I liked his music, I liked his vibes, I liked his personality, and I did not speak very good English then, did not understand a lot of the lyrics. But then later on during the years when I understood English and I understood the lyrics, then I was thinking, because of this I like Bob Marley.
So it was the music before the lyrics.
Before, the soul without any understanding much of his lyric, more the vibes what he was bringing along what caught me. But then when I understood the lyric as well, then it was for me something like, yes, because of this I like it so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Gunter. We'll be back at the end to see if the movie has impressed you.
Okay, let's
thank
enjoy
you.
the movie then.
Thank you.
And the music brought him to even get in his locks, he said. And he also told us he has a tattoo of Bob on his chest.
Yeah, but
I wonder which side he has it, on his heart or on the other side.
well, let's see what he says.
Let's see what Gunter says.
I have a tattoo of Bob Marley
Yeah.
on my heart. I have a Bob
Yeah, a
Marley
tattoo.
tattoo.
Wow, that's crazy. I
It's
haven't had one.
handmade and not very clear, but
It's on his heart, bro. I could have told you that, but you did. Today I rewatched the interview that I did with him, and I could see how vested he was in Bob Marley's music. Like you can see, like
Yeah, man, the music, man, the music.
heart kind of affects people and touches people in different ways, and I can see how Bob Marley's music has touched a lot of people. Like it has impacted their lives.
Yeah, man,
as well.
the most influential Rasta man the world has ever seen, my brother.
Easily, his impact was phenomenal. Like Gunter growing up in Austria and discovering Bob Marley through the Kaya album just goes to show his global impact that he reached. He didn't
Kaya.
even speak English before, as he just said.
Exactly. That was one of the driving forces for him to try to learn English so he could understand what Bob was saying. That was my driving, because that was my driving force to actually learn Spanish. I used to love salsa, cumbia, bachata, all of these music. But I didn't know what they're saying, so I had to research the lyrics, and from then I started to learn Spanish, and here I am now.
So the
today.
music drew you to the language.
Yeah.
And it also has drawn people to the Jamaican language, which is exactly how the movie was shot in yesterday. Which was
Wait
good.
now, wait now.
Which
Wait
was
now.
good.
Wait now.
I'm getting
Wait
there.
now,
Just
wait
let
now,
me
wait
build.
now,
Let me
wait
cook.
now,
Let me
wait
cook. Let me cook,
Wait
my
now,
brother.
wait
Let
now.
me cook.
Wait
Let
now,
me cook.
man.
Let me cook. Let me cook. But you know, we just want to jump straight into it. Like yesterday, we wanted to sit outside the movie theater and did
And
this.
just do the episode
Just do
right
the
then
pod-
and there.
Right, because it was fresh and it was hot.
Oh God, man.
But we were like, let's sit on it a bit. No. Let's take some time to basically
to process
it, and so we can view it from a more objective standpoint when it's not fresh in the
and
mind.
from a higher frequency
Exactly.
also,
So that was generally the consensus, and now we're recording one day after. Tonil I've seen the movie twice.
Yeah, guys, I saw the movie in Spanish, so I could have a good perspective to see what the Spanish people were given in terms of the movie. And for my own pleasure, I had to see it in English or in patois, let's say. I had to because it's a different feeling, honestly. When I was watching it in Spanish, to be honest, I still thought the movie was very beautiful, but without hearing it in your own language per se, you don't like the message doesn't like get it doesn't really get inside you and you don't feel the full movie unless you watch it in your language. Because they might say some things that you might understand and say, wow, I can't believe this actually came in the movie. Or the way how they communicated. Because the way how we'll get more into this later. The way how Kingsley Ben-adir embodied the character of Bob Marley in the movie. Spanish did it no justice. You had to see
voiceover,
exactly.
work.
The dub didn't work. You have to see it in its original version to see the work that he did when he interpreted Bob Marley. And I can tell you that that man did an excellent job, Rastafari.
So, all right. So
I approve of the job that he did.
We're there already. So let's start with we're starting with the cast.
Okay, let's start with the cast then.
The cast. Kingsley Ben-adir, the front man, Bob Marley. Your your thoughts, like where did he go right?
And where did he go wrong?
Exactly. Did he go wrong anywhere?
To be honest, I can tell you a million places where he went right. Where he went wrong, I would have to really look very hard to see where he went wrong. I can tell you where he went wrong. You remember the first scene when he was leaving?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, there are a lot of spoilers in this episode.
We put it in the title.
Yeah. You remember the first scene when him and the kids were in the car after the football match?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but my dead would laugh when I saw him holding the spliff.
The way
it was like...
No, but that's how Bob was his spliff in most of the videos I've seen. Like, that's how Bob
No. It's something with the finger. His finger was like this, and you could see that he wasn't comfortable.
I didn't.
That was one detail that I noticed. That was kind of funny to me. Like, nothing wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? But that was just funny to me.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I could see that. Like, driving and having a spliff in one hand is a bit...
That too, yeah.
Might be something new for
And in
him.
Jamaica, because we have... the cars are right-handed. So the steering wheel is on the right side and we drive on the left side.
Yeah, but he's British, so he knows it. He's British, so that should not have been a problem.
That too.
That should not have been a problem. He's British. We drive on the same side of the road as they do. So
Mr. Kingsley Ben-adir, you did a great job.
Big up yourself.
You know, I will tell you my biases before seeing the movie. I thought that they needed a Jamaican person to embody Bob Marley, to represent Bob Marley to the fullest. But seeing his work, I think I kind of changed my mind to that. Some people might have a different perspective. I've heard reviews, for example, people saying that Jamaica doesn't have we don't have actors that could play the role of Bob Marley. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I don't know why they chose Kingsley Ben-adir, but I think they made the right choice. To be very honest.
You know what? Like,
to be very honest,
as a producer, as a creator of anything, like, you want to go with the best choice possible, right?
Yeah.
So I am going to assume, or I'm just gonna put myself in Ziggy's shoe for a minute. Like, this is his dad, and he wants to be true to his dad's memory, right? So he has to make a lot of decisions that will impact his dad's memory.
A lot of decisions that people won't necessarily like, you know?
But it's his dad at the end of the day.
Yes, his dad.
It's his dad. Bob Marley has impacted a lot of people, but at the end of the day, it's his dad. It's his memory of his dad. It's his take on things. So I'm pretty sure he probably saw hundreds, if not hundreds of audition tapes.
I still wish I sent in my application.
Yeah, no, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah, I snoozed and I lost.
You were missing a criteria.
What?
I think the actor had to be mixed.
Why? Like mixed, or like in terms of like the right like color?
One of your parents had to be white.
You think that was a criteria?
That was a criteria, I think. Like, they wanted someone that's mixed, or as the complexion as being mixed. Because for you, they would have to do a lot of work on your complexion. You'd be
You think so?
Yes.
In what way? I need to be dark. I need to be
lighter.
lighter.
Your skin needs to be lighter. Bob was lighter than you, know,
Yeah,
brother.
definitely. We know this.
Yeah, so exactly. So how would they make they would be like a dark skinned man? Plus,
Not
they
necessarily.
didn't.
I don't think people would have a problem with that. Also,
No, no. People would say that why you have someone darker than Bob's complexion. Remember that Bob is
Well,
half
true,
white.
true,
He's
true.
half white.
But to be honest, Davian, like there's not much difference between me and Bob Marley's color.
There is a lot of difference.
The difference is me hairy, and you gotta see my hair, for example.
Yeah.
But Davian, there's not much of a difference. Trust me.
There is a lot of difference here.
Okay, I respect your opinion. I respect.
Look at
No. Hold on.
Tony's complexion is close to Bob's.
Hold on. Respect your point of view, because you might see it differently from me. You know what I say? I understand that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but yeah, it's just a fact. Yeah, your complexion darker.
Yeah.
Different shade. Yeah. Maybe one little scale up.
I'm
Maybe
not
we
bleach.
turn down the brightness. Yeah, put out some bleaching.
No,
cream. Put out some bleaching
no,
cream.
Rasta not bleach.
Are you
No,
there?
I'm not bleaching. No.
But Kingsley, big up yourself. Like,
Big up yourself, Kingsley.
Like,
you embody Bob Marley. Trust
like
me.
the
Yeah.
accent, the accent that you
Him
guys
get
did.
it. Yeah.
Like, bro,
You get it, boy.
you can
get it.
act. Like you can act. The man can act.
The man, as in not only the man can act in a dog, the man really play the role of Bob Marley. Even not just only the language, the body language. For example,
the gestures,
for
the
example,
gait.
when you see, for example, Bob on stage or him jump on Galavant and prance,
Yeah.
that is one. During him interviews, you know how Bob is not a man, him sit down straight in front. Him catch himself so.
Yeah.
And him talk to you.
The mannerism them.
Sometimes him locks cover him face. And him talk to you. Him say, well, you know,
Brother.
I ain't dig them thing there, you know, Rasta.
Brother.
Yeah. The man have him body language. I feel like, say, I know that this man was a Marley fan before during the movie. He had to be.
No, more some interviews. He's like, he knew Bob Marley, but he wasn't
But guess what?
hardcore
That man
fan.
is a good actor, and him study Bob Marley very
You know
well,
what?
Rasta.
Personally, I had to do some research on it. So I watched most of his interviews that he's done, and he's like, he invested 2 years of his life
Being Bob.
learning
Bob. Yeah,
things
man.
from Bob. At times, he says he didn't feel like he was him or Bob. There was just a connection there. And he couldn't
That
just
is normal
mimic
too.
him. He
That
couldn't
is
just mimic
normal.
it. He grew into the role. Like, I expected the language to be annoying. And when I was watching it, not for 1 second did the switch go off. Like this
Exactly.
doesn't-
That's why I tell you it's actually hard to say what you did wrong when it comes to playing Bob.
There was a few things that I don't think it's his fault. I think it's the fault of his height. Because
No, hold on.
he's
I have
taller
something with
than
that.
Bob.
Hold on. I have something with that. You remember? All right. So we're talking about the cast members, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just highlight another cast member. Another thing I really find so funny in the movie is that, as you say, Bob Marley was one of the tallest guys in the band, and it's the other way around.
He was the shortest.
You know, Family Man Barrett, the guy that played the bass.
Yeah.
He's actually Family Man Barrett's son.
Mhm.
You know, and Family Man Barrett was the height of Bob, and Bob was the height of Family Man Barrett.
In the movie,
It was so funny.
That was. You know what?
Oh God.
I feel like they did well. It's like when you watch a Tom Cruise movie. Like Tom Cruise is really short, you know, like
Yeah?
very very short, like
I didn't
very
know that.
very short.
Uh-huh.
And you never feel like he's short in the movies. He's like his presence
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
way they angle the camera. But there were certain scenes when they were all together.
For example, when they were running to the park to go and play football together.
Yes.
I see Family Man Barrett, the short man, him son, just a run
Yes.
out.
And-
And Kingsley was like,
A little bit, but a lot of people
Yeah.
don't know that Bob was that short as well, because when you have that kind of presence, that charisma,
yeah, he was a
you-
big person, but a
Yeah.
very short person in stature.
It's like a messy
You know?
vibe. Like when you see on the field, you can see that he's
He's
short.
a big man.
Exactly,
Yeah, but-
exactly.
In terms of
And-
stature, him short.
And I feel like if they had maybe they did it on purpose to have someone taller, or maybe just
I don't think
maybe
so.
he just had an impact.
I mean,
Maybe,
I-
I don't know what went through.
I
their
think they
minds.
chose him because he fit all the criterias. He didn't fit the height criteria, but one criteria is nothing. If they were to choose somebody shorter, which didn't fit another criteria, for example, because if you look at the checklist, He fit all the criteria.
No, he's good.
Although some people
Except
might
the
say,
Jamaican passport. Except the
and although some like a lot of people are rolling. I think Bob might be rolling in his grave right now about this.
What?
That they didn't choose a Rasta man
For to
play the part.
Yeah.
But you
Which
know,
Rasta man they're gonna pick?
well, I know. You have only a Rasta man we can. But the thing
can
is, you know,
act like him.
I was so shocked when I saw Kingsley Ben-adir outside of the cast when they went to Jamaica, and I saw him without the locks. All along, I thought this man was a Rasta.
But
And you would think him is a Rasta, the way how him play Bob.
the way he played but that's the next thing. Like outside of the movie, you can't really tell that is this the guy that played Bob?
Exactly.
Because they did like his
It's
teeth.
like-
I think he probably wore some dentures as well. Because Bob
No, I
had like
don't
very
think so.
straight teeth, naturally gifted with teeth. Like he had good teeth.
But you know, I think it's a Jamaican thing.
No, I don't know. Maybe they do
I
it.
think it's a Jamaican thing. Usually,
Maybe they
like
do
people,
it. I need to research that part.
like I think Jamaican people usually have beautiful smiles
Yeah, no, but you know,
when it comes to that. But I understand you.
Bob,
Bob,
Bob had
yeah.
I wouldn't say he had distinct features.
He had a
that
Colgate smile.
Exactly.
That's
He
what they
had
call it, yeah.
distinct features that needed to be embodied by him, needed to look like him there. And Kingsley, you did a great job. But I think it's time for move on.
All right, let's go to the other cast. So,
Rita.
Rita, oh God, Rita Marley, not Rita Marley. She play her well.
Yeah?
What was the name of the actor again? She's of Jamaican descent.
Lashana Lynch.
Yeah, man. Oh God, that girl they play Rita so well.
Like,
So well. She even look like Rita physically.
yeah.
She shaped like Rita too. Don't play with her.
Body chan.
Don't play with her. Yeah.
Real
She did a really good job, and she was another person who also embodied Rita Marley.
Yeah.
If you see how, for example, because I haven't really seen Rita outside that much, outside of the music, you know, but like during her stage performances, how she would perform with the I3s, you know, they do the little dance, and then they come to the mic and they sing again.
Yeah.
All of that was really correct. How her attitude towards Bob,
The militancy
was actually correct, because I want to get into this now. Because some people think that Bob and Rita Marley, they were husband and wife. Yes, they were married. They had a ring. But eventually in their relationship, they came to a common understanding that, you know, I love you, Rita. I love you, Bob. But I don't think we can be lovers anymore. So she became his guardian along his journey. And they actually showed that in the movie. There was no time where Bob and Rita was actually like lovey-dovey, you know. I would love to see it,
the younger scenes.
Yeah, we'll get to that too. The younger scenes, they show where they started, you know, how they started out, how they used to be. But during the period of the time where they showed of his life, because to be honest, they only showed like 3 years of his life. He's like when he was at the height of his career with Exodus album, right? But they did a good job with that, to show that she was like his guardian and not his wife.
She was his partner.
Yeah, but in the end, she carried the ring. She had the ring up until his death. She was his guardian.
There's no doubt that
Yeah.
there was a love story and a different kind of love between Bob and Rita.
Definitely,
Like
yeah.
Bob and Rita had a special kind of love that I think that kind of love probably don't even exist anymore. It's hard
Maybe
to
not.
find.
Well, the only other time I've seen it or I've heard about it was with Michelle Obama and Barack Obama, because
That's a different kind of relationship. Because
no, but in some ways it's kind of the same.
No,
I'll show you.
I can't. No, you know why we can't compare it
I'll
like
show
that?
you, yeah.
You know why? Because there's no record of infidelity with them. And that's
No,
a
well,
big
I know,
thing.
well, I know,
That's
well, I
a
know.
Big
Yeah,
thing.
I know this, but what I know, I mean, in the way that Michelle Obama also wanted to be a lawyer. She had her dreams, but she set aside all of this to embark on the journey with Barack Obama to be the president.
Okay.
She actually put her life on pause to help with the not the greater journey, but his journey, and to be his guardian along the way. And
Yeah.
that That's giving up your life for somebody. There's not a lot of people who would do it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say Rita necessarily give up all her dreams.
I believe
she
so.
putting out her own albums because Bob didn't want it at times. I wasn't ready for her to
I
do it
don't
yet.
think Bob didn't want it because she has album out, you know.
Yeah, but Bob wasn't happy about it because
What you mean by that?
because when you have someone in your corner like Rita,
Yeah.
you want that person in your corner. You don't. Rita was always there. Every time he was on stage and he looked around,
Rita.
was always there. His rock.
I tell him rock,
It's
man,
rock.
him guardian angel.
So if she was to go on her own and leave him like
no,
that,
no, no.
obviously,
Listen. No,
that,
no. She wouldn't be a solo artist.
No,
She
no.
would be with the high trees because, for example,
No, remember they had the High Trees songs, but the producers approached her to do her own thing.
to be solo. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but she chose not to because she believed in the greater good of the band. You know, she believed in the mission of the band.
Yeah, but Bob wasn't happy about that either. He wanted Rita to be there with him.
Yeah, because him need Rita. Him need Rita. That was kind of selfish, though, I will say, by any means, you know. But Rita agreed and she helped along the journey and she reaped the rewards after. But another thing with in terms of that, Marcia Griffiths, Judy Mowat,
The rest of the cast. There.
and Rita Marley, all three were individual artists in their own respects during when they were with the Wailers. Did you know that?
Yeah, they were doing their own thing, but they weren't
weren't
getting the traction.
They were actually, but
Not as much as the Wailer, like.
no, of course not. But trust me, no, they were getting traction in those times. But the thing is, they couldn't go off to be solo artists. One, because they didn't want to. Two, because they were a work in progress, even though they were the high trees, they were the best melody of that time. But as you said, to go off as others, it would take from the sound of the high trees.
Yeah, but I didn't think it's not that they didn't want to, because I think that's us making an assumption there. Like, personally, if I'm in a band and I'm just a backup singer, even if I'm a backup singer in the best band, I'm going to be like, I'm the backup singer in the best band. So why not start my own band when I get the certain
Not
accreditation?
necessarily, Davin. You have two type of people in the world. You have leaders, but you also have great followers will help you to the journey, through the journey, and help you get to your goal. You can either be a great leader or a great follower, I believe. And they chose to be great followers, and in the end, they set their name in history. And after that, they went on to do their own music when Bob died, and they had success.
Maybe I'm putting my own personal biases, because I would not want to be a backup singer for the rest of my life, like if I was in a band. Especially if I'm a good singer as well, and I'm getting producers coming to me and be like, oh, you can put out your own music, because they were musicians in their own right. So they were putting out ideally what was Bob's vision. Wasn't there a chance where they wanted to put out their vision as well?
No, you know? I think you have them as Bob had them in the middle of their hand, and they only had this freedom to do what they wanted. They actually had their freedom, but the thing is, they actually had their freedom, and they would bring their music to Bob to record it in his studio, right? And the producer will say, all right, Moet, Judy, heighten your voice a little bit. Marcia, you need to lick that note a little bit more. You know, he had his influence on it, but they had their freedom. They weren't in the palm of his hand, so he could, like, you know, hold them when he wanted. They had their freedom.
Yeah, they had their freedom, but they were still expected to be the high trees for the Wailers.
Of course. And honestly, who would want to be backup singers in the greatest Jamaican band back in those days? Yeah. But they were at the top. Top.
You're not getting what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you're the greatest backup singers in the greatest band,
Davin,
there is going to be one person out of the three must have thought, why I want to go on my own. I want to make
Davin,
my music.
As you said earlier, I think those are your biases. Remember I tell you about you have great leaders and you have great followers?
You know what? I don't think I would be. I can't.
That's you,
know,
Davin. I'm telling you.
Biased,
I think you put your bias into this.
Would you want to be a backup singer for you?
I don't mind. As I say, you have great leaders and you have great followers.
You know
and the thing is, you have to understand, all of them believe in a Rasta. So one goal. So it wasn't all about, I'm a big artist, I'm bigger than this band, let me commercialize myself and make it bigger than this band.
I never said that.
No, I'm saying this might be what you was trying to explain to say.
No, I'm not trying to explain that, bro. I'm not saying that they would think that they were bigger. They would know that this is the role that they played.
Yeah, man, that's
But
why
people want, if you're
Yeah.
an ambitious person, you might say, oh, I want to put out an album for myself. Bob, I'm still here with you. I support the movement. I support your vision. But I want to do this for myself. Or I want
Davian,
to.
they
I
have
want
albums.
to. Yeah, they have albums, but that's what I'm saying. The fact that they have albums kind of supports my point a bit. That they probably wanted to do more, but they probably didn't have enough time as well. Because they had it's like you have your full-time job and your part-time job.
The full-time job was the music.
Was the music?
No, the full-time job was Works. Was Works, and secondly was the music.
But the music
you can't separate the message from the music. And the mission from the music.
But what if they wanted to, because their music it sent a different message than Bob's music. They delivered it differently. Because Bob was a kind of genius delivered his thing well. So all I'm saying is, like, these women, at some point, they might have wanted to just go on their own and do certain things. But the enigmatic nature of Bob and his charisma and the way he motivated them, they probably, as you said, made them want to follow. But I do think that they probably had some personal objectives. But we finish off the casting. Anyone in the cast says you want to talk about?
Yes, of course. We have to talk about who is in the cast and who was not in the cast, Rasta.
Who?
Sheldon Shepherd, who played Neville Garrick, which was Bob Marley's graphic designer. Excellent job. That man embodied Neville. If you see Neville Garrick and you look on Sheldon and you see Sheldon Shepherd, the same person. Do we even know the way how when he was presenting the Exodus album cover to the guys who were going to put out the album, whatever. That is how Neville Garrick actually is. I've seen him in a lot of interviews.
I don't think
same personality, same mannerism, everything. Excellent job. The drummer, Carlton Barrett. Just like Carlton. Him even play like Carlton. The same way Carlton rock the drums.
Yeah.
The same way him rock the drums. I remember his name is the percussionist Chronix band. Hector.
Yeah.
Seiko was the percussionist. Remember the big tall Rasta man?
Always in the background.
Yeah,
Always in the
Seiko.
background.
Excellent job
I think
too.
them say Seiko drop out COVID time.
Recently. Within the last 2 years, Seiko.
COVID
God
time.
bless him soul.
COVID times.
Yeah. Who else now? Make we talk about who was not in there, Rasta. Oh, no, wait.
You never noticed Lee Scratch Perry in the thing.
Hold on. We'll get to that, man. Dan Taylor did a good job, too. Even though that was not the real story of how Dan Taylor getting beaten.
Yeah. Before we go to the storyline, we'll continue.
All right. Who was not there? So, one big person who was not there, not even once in the movie I saw him. Well, only once with one wheeler scene, was Peter Tosh. And did you know they actually filmed his part, Peter Tosh? But later they removed his scene. I don't know why.
Probably approvals.
Maybe.
I don't think he would have fit the storyline as well.
Oh, what you say?
No, before we go there, Peter Tosh was absent. But I will tell you why further on why I don't think he would have fit the storyline.
All right. Another person who was absent or they didn't play the role, they didn't show the role that he actually played, were two people. Lee Scratch Perry.
He was there, bro.
And Joe Higgs as producers.
Yeah.
They were there in the movie, but that wasn't they actually played huge, even like bigger roles in Bob's music than they actually put in the movie.
Yeah, but they only had like...
It's good that they actually tried to include them into the movie so people don't forget them. But I'd like to see them put in how actually the role they actually played in Bob's life.
I feel like they did a good job with that aspect. Like I disagree with you in that point because the snapshot that they showed there, it showed Lee Scratch Perry's and Coxsone Dodd's impact on it when he went to the studio for the first time and they sang Simmer Down. Before they sang that, they were doing some other songs and they were like, these aren't it. And Coxsone Dodd, who did he look to? it shows that he always looks to Lee Scratch Perry for the for that.
Yeah,
for
I understand that part
for that
there, you know.
for that second approval. For
I
say, yeah,
understand that,
this is
yeah.
it, cause Lee Scratch Perry can spot a hit song, and the moment they sing "Simmer Down," you saw Lee Scratch Perry,
Them start dance and get
and
crazy.
that's exactly how he was. And Errol Jarrett, our guard,
Uh,
he did. I think he did a good job.
oh
there.
God, man, that man is a
Yeah.
maestro.
Yeah, so
Um,
I feel like I agree. I disagree with you saying that
alright.
they
No,
didn't
no,
tell
no.
enough.
As in, they did perfect in the roles that they played in the movie. But those were like they played bigger roles in Bob's life, and
No,
I would have liked to see that.
But
You know?
maybe we should jump to the storyline now.
No, no,
because-
wait.
Who else?
The cast.
Muta Baruka.
We the man. We get in there.
Muta Baruka.
Muta. We see Muta without him shoes in the movie.
Movie.
Muta is a legend. If you watch this right now, Muta. Yeah. You're the biggest
surprised.
Rasta man ever.
Be surprised.
Trust me. Me take off my
Surprised.
tam to you, Muta. You're the best. We
Surprised.
elder Muta Baruka. Who else me there go on now? Bucky Marshall and Claude Massop. The two bad man them.
Yeah.
Those they played well their role. And those two guys, surprisingly to some people, they actually were in Bob Marley's life. To know the world, and when you walk the world in Jamaica, you will know the world of good, and you will also know the world of bad man or bad. He had both in his world, and the movie actually showed that. I like how they didn't try to push that part to the back burner. Because also that was a very important part and an
They couldn't-
influential part in
They
Bob's
couldn't do
life.
that. To convey the movie, they needed them
Yeah,
to
man.
be present in it.
Definitely.
If there was a downfall in any of the cast
Yeah.
and how those people were portrayed, I don't think bad men back then kind of had those mannerisms. I don't know if maybe I'm interpreting it because when I picture bad man from those times, those two didn't stand out. Like the way they walked and the way they carried themselves, flying to England and them thing there.
But they actually fly to
Yeah.
England to get Bob to, it was
Yeah.
it was them that went to England to settle Bob. Bob,
Come back.
listen, we propose something to you now, Rasta. Come back, come do a concert. Please, we need it on our island. You know?
Yeah.
We need it.
And
But I don't think it was exactly them who went to England. They had representatives.
you think so?
Because during that time, both of them were both in gun court.
They were
Because of the gang violence, they actually arrested them during that time and they went to gun court and they were staying in jail.
But they said that they got released. But those are liberties that I feel like that's okay. Even though if you send a messenger to bring or convey the point in a movie, you can exaggerate it a bit and just because when you're telling a story, you don't
Of
have
course,
to tell
yeah.
the story like
Exactly
how it is. But you send two people, those two people went with your message, so essentially you sent yourself to deliver the message.
So
And
it
it's
is the
more
embodiment
impactful.
of the message, you know?
But I can't say for sure of that.
Another person, Chris Blackwell, in the movie, his manager, did a good part. Who else, Rasta? Who else did it?
I think that's more. There was like another scene with a lady. I think that lady is still there when she come to Bob and say, "Bob, need a little money for set up a little shop." That was a good scene.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
People used to form lines outside of Bob Marley house, come in there to ask Bob for help. And the same way how Bob treated it, he said, Dan, go talk to this lady, see what you want,
And set
and
her
give her what she want.
Nice.
It was actually true.
Yeah.
And that's why he got so upset with Dan Taylor later in the movie. He said, we only had one agreement. Just one agreement, Dan. And you know how much I don't care about the money. But you lied to me.
Yeah.
You lied to me. But yeah.
Betraying trust.
Who else in the cast? I think...
For me,
by the way, we cannot forget this youth. The young Bob Marley. That guy...
Oh, yeah.
That guy was a superb actor. Honestly, I don't know this guy as an actor. He's a musician.
Yeah.
I know him as a musician. He's a wicked guitarist, you know. I've been following him for a while and whatever, you know. He played such a role for young Bob. The voice, the mannerism, for example, and the times when the show with him was with Rita and such and such. That guy, he did such a good job. Such a good job. He did young Bob justice as well. Yeah. And the young girl who played Rita, she played a very good part too. Trust me. I love seeing both of them. It just comes so natural. You know, the young love
Yeah.
and whatever. Yeah.
It felt like a
Yeah, man.
Jamaican
But
love story there.
yeah.
For real.
Exactly.
Felt like a
The
Jamaican love
little
story.
hide and go look for your lover, you know, nobody not see you.
Yeah,
and
man,
all that kinda-
sneaky and them thing.
Yeah,
Real.
niceness,
That,
you know.
that aspect that there was like a connection there.
Yeah,
Like a
I,
connection. I could
I
see
love
that.
seeing
I
it.
could
I
see
love
that.
seeing
I
it,
could
yeah.
see that. I could see that. Another actor.
Yeah.
I should know his name, and I'm sorry, bro, I don't know your name. From
From Top Boy.
From Top Boy. Jamie from Top Boy. I know your
yeah.
name. Jamie from Top Boy. Like,
Yeah.
incredible actor. I like Top Boy, and he did a good job in it as well.
Well,
a lot of people might not have
yeah.
known he was gonna be in there, but
Me
he
either.
did a good job. I was surprised.
I was
to see
surprised
him.
when they saw it. They put him as a gunman. Yeah.
Yeah, he played a good
Wow.
role, and he's a decent actor. Not decent. He's a
No,
good actor. Good actor.
top actor. Top
I
actor.
don't.
As well.
As I say, the cast for us was, apart from personal biases of wanting more Jamaicans in the cast, I don't think they went wrong with the people that they selected.
No.
The casting director did a good job.
Yeah. And even the backup singers, Naomi Cowan being Marcia Griffiths and Savannah being Judy Mowat, they did a good job. Even though we didn't get to see much of them in the movie, but we saw them musically, how they would body the high trees on stage.
Yeah.
And they did what they were supposed to do. They did a lovely job.
Well done with the cast. Well done.
I think that was
Big
the
ups to
cast, yeah.
Storyline.
So they chose to start. Should we start at what they did or what they should have?
No, let's storyline. Spoiler alert.
All right, spoiler alert. Let's start with what they did.
It's not a history lesson about Bob Marley.
Everybody knows this.
You won't. This is not. If you go into this and expecting a typical biopic from start to finish of the person's life until they die, you're not going to get that.
No.
This storyline was to basically show Jamaica in the 70s, of when there was a lot of political
the
turmoil.
late 70s.
The late 70s.
Mid to late 70s.
Political turmoil, and when Jamaica was struggling, and there was almost on the verge of a civil war
yeah.
between two political parties that were strong-handed by two gangs in the country.
Also, by outside influence, that C word. You see that C word?
By
those
the CIA.
Guys, no, don't say the name. No,
By the CIA.
Don't say the name. These C guys.
By the CIA.
They went into our country to destabilize our country because they didn't want our country being the next Cuba.
Exactly.
They did the same in Grenada. This is the same in Trinidad and Tobago.
A lot of countries.
A lot.
So there was that. It was that period of time. These two gangs were warring, and there was a lot of violence on the verge of civil war. Elections coming up. The CIA's influence of not
Stop saying them
wanting.
name, no brother.
It's the fact, brother.
Stop saying them name.
Allegedly. Let me put allegedly.
Allegedly, no.
Allegedly. Then what? You know what? I'm in Spain. So it was. These are what I grew up hearing. This is what I
grew up knowing.
And this is what was conveyed in it in much subtler manner. I would have liked more mention of the CIA.
They didn't mention them at all.
They mentioned them.
When?
They mentioned them when Chris Blackwell said that he had to go up to the embassy and he was questioned about his relationship with Bob Marley.
Because he's with...
Who is going to question you in the embassy?
Yeah, but the thing is, they didn't their presence was not made known.
Exactly.
Their name was mentioned once in the first part of the movie when he agreed to do the stage show. Because, as you know, in that time, the Prime Minister, Mr. Michael Manley, came to Bob and said, all right, Bob, we would like if we could collaborate with you to do a concert.
Yeah.
And later, that guy put the election close to the concert, so people thought that Bob Marley was supporting that political party. And that's why they came to his house and they went there and they shoot up his house.
Yeah. Allegedly, the CIA was the one that hired these men to go after Bob Marley. That's what I've heard. And I don't know if it's true or not because I wasn't there, but it was alleged like the CIA called out this hit on Bob Marley and hired 3 gunmen to carry it out. Mainly because Michael Manley was a socialist party, the Democratic Socialist Party, the PNP, People's National Party. And he was, he had a good relationship with Bob. Bob was the
And
kind of man that had
Bob,
good
Bob knows the
relationship with
killers.
both sides. Huh?
Bob knew who the killers, the gunmen were.
Yeah, but before
Like
we get
he
there,
knew them.
yeah, before
Yeah.
we get there, like I said, for the storyline, so it was this period in Jamaica where there was a political turmoil on the verge of a civil war. The only person that both sides of the fence respected, and the only person that had the influence in the country at the time was Bob Marley
Rasta
and his
man.
message, because people respected him as a fair person, a righteous person, and in Jamaica, like when you get a certain status, it takes that amount to be impactful. Even though there are two gang leaders, these gang leaders, they also respected Bob. Even though they had their gangs and they had their gangs, they couldn't tell their guys like, oh, you stop shoot up that, you stop shoot up that. They needed someone that had neutrality but respect to come in and do it. So this shows the journey of how Bob Marley helped to stop the Civil War, which would have probably led Jamaica to be one of the not the paradise that we all know it has now, but possibly a very conflict-driven country in terms of politics and stuff.
But to be honest, Jamaica is not the same exact way, but in a lot of ways it still is.
Yeah.
And we still feel the impacts from what actually happened on the island in the 70s.
Yeah.
In terms of guns coming in, Dans being formed. A
Mm-hmm.
Dan is born every day, a Dan dies every day in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
But from those days in the 70s, we are still feeling the effects.
Yeah, because
And some people still, that some people still kind of afraid to open their mouth because some people still alive.
yeah, there's still
certain people
remnants of it, and because of Jamaica's location to Cuba as well, and Cuba's relationship with countries like Russia, obviously you don't want Cuba and Jamaica's relationship to be that good if you are from an external force.
If you come from the sea guys, because that will destabilize your country, destabilize your goal.
Exactly. So they had that influence where they were putting guns and supporting one political party, and it was allegedly that this was what was going on. So the movie does a good job of showing how Bob struggled and how Bob got to, even though it was just to have a peace concert, like a lot of people don't understand. In the Jamaican context, we use sport and music and any form of art as a way to bridge the gap between people of different areas. Like, I know, like,
I think we're masters at that. Masters.
Like, whenever there's if there's a gang war between two streets or two ghettos or two areas, the best thing anyone can do is put on a football match with both teams.
And just express yourself in that football match.
And for that, there would be a ceasefire.
Definitely.
And then there will be more calmer heads to talk about peace. And this is what Bob Marley did for 3 million people. He did this, and his continued message of spreading peace and showing how effective his message was. He did it at home before he did it anywhere else. Like, his message at home, he showed that this works.
Yeah.
As well. Even though he was surrounded by these forces that, to be honest, like, they weren't the best, but to be able to operate in a world where you're surrounded by gang leaders and gang members and come out and be respected by both sides, that is something phenomenal.
It's not something you see every day.
The kind of charisma that you need in order to be that kind of person that can look into two gang leaders' eyes and say, yo, peace, and they respect him. That to me is like something that the movie conveyed. And conveying that message throughout the movie is Bob's message. Trust me, it made me somewhat emotional as well. Like, and for me, that's nothing. Like, there were points where I was like, "Whoa, I think I could have cried."
Tough, yeah.
I could have cried, bro. I don't know why, but there were points I could have cried, and I looked around.
Yeah, man.
I looked around,
and people were bawling.
I looked around.
Oh God, the guy that was bawling in tears.
These guys, not Jamaican people.
Exactly.
People from all over.
People feel the movie and feel Bob's struggle, man.
Feel it.
Wow.
The movie, if you're a fan of Bob Marley and you're a fan of reggae music, the movie will be a great movie for you.
Definitely.
If you are a person that only knows a few Bob Marley songs and you like his story, you will struggle to get the full message of the movie, especially if you don't understand patois. I would suggest that you do not watch this movie without subtitles. You need subtitles to get the full message, or else you're just gonna be watching a screen and only getting few things and not the full message that they were trying to
True.
send. So if you're not a true Bob Marley fan and you feel like you'll struggle with the language, try and watch it with subtitles.
I get a patois dictionary.
Learn the language or listen to some songs as well.
Listen some tune. Yeah, listen some song before you go in. Prepare yourself. Prepare
But
your
for
mind.
me,
I have so much thing to say,
as a
Rasta.
viewing experience for me as a Jamaican, the storyline was good.
Definitely. Hold on, no.
It
Hold on,
showed
no.
glimpses of. No, I'm still on the storyline. It showed
Alright.
glimpses of Bob's early childhood, and a snapshot of his teenage childhood. And I think another underlying tone of it was the love story between Bob and Rita.
I love
They
it.
wanted to convey that from his teenage years to his creation of Exodus up until his diagnosis with cancer and his later death as
Yeah.
well.
Mhm.
So it showed how she grew with him as well. Another factor that wasn't, well, I felt like could have been included was his relationship with his children more. But there was a little there. I think they want is. I think being a soldier of Jah, Rita was responsible for bringing up the children. The traditional role.
Not only that, you have to understand. Bob was a busy man. In the movie, there was no time where he could stop and take a breath. Even he said it in the movie.
Mhm.
Me give every day, but at the end of the day, no, I'm singing about peace, but when can I actually find some peace for me?
True. As I said, like there was always someone
He was
coming
busy.
to him.
He was busy going. Always have somebody there. Always have somebody at you. The music coming at you. All the ideas are coming at your head. Rehearsal. All of these things kind of distract you. And the relationship with the kids. Remember, another vein.
Mm.
Did you know that there was a point in time where Bob had 3 kids being born within 2 months?
I didn't know that. I know he has like at
Stephen
least
Marley,
12.
Robert Marley, and I believe and Rohan Marley. They were born in the same between the same 3 or 2 months in 1975. I want to say Ziggy was the older one. Sidala Marley was the older.
And don't forget,
as well,
don't forget Sharon.
Yeah, man, Sharon too.
Adopted
and yeah,
daughter.
he actually had a lot of adopted children. So all those children that you saw in the movie, he adopted 3 or 2
Two.
girls. 2 girls. 2
He
girls.
adopted
girls.
Rita's firstborn, Sharon, when they got married.
Yeah.
And then he also adopted Rita's other born that was not really mentioned.
No, she wasn't mentioned. I don't know if she didn't want to or.
No.
You know?
All right. That's another thing with the storyline
Yeah.
that we have to cover. Like, the storyline is told from 2 perspectives. From Ziggy, Bob Marley's eldest son. This is how he saw his dad. This is his version of his dad.
Yeah.
So if you go into it with the preconception that you want to see a history of Bob Marley and you want to see this
it's
and
not
this
a
in it,
history. It's
an homage.
no.
to his father.
They chose his life between. They chose the emotional heights of his life, which was between 1967 and 1978, thereabout.
Yeah. And it's also,
Yeah.
remember that this was produced by his son, Ziggy, and his mom, Rita. Like, there are certain things in the movie that I understand why they weren't included, and I understand the story. This is how they saw Bob. This is how, when you look at someone, this is how they see him. And we have this thing in Jamaica, when someone dies, no matter, you don't say anything bad about them.
No, it is wrong to do
Even
that.
if this person was the most vile human being,
you don't
they
say
die,
that. You lock your mouth.
you either don't say nothing if you don't have nothing good to say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing that impacted the story as well. Like, I do feel like I wanted the story to show more of the darker side of Bob, because there's no way that he could have operated in the world that he did
Mm-hmm.
without having a certain level of militancy, like a certain level
No, you have to understand that
energy.
when you're a Rasta in another vein, you don't have a choice but to be militant, Peace and love. We preach peace and love. Peace and love. But don't play with me. If you play with me, you're going to see me turn into the fiery lion. I always say, a lion is cool. A lion is one of the coolest animals you know. But when a lion get fiery, don't play with him. Because you know him ability.
True.
But otherwise, him cool.
True.
So don't play with him.
Yeah.
You have to be militant.
Yeah. So maybe, but then again, as I said, we have to be militant. But this is Ziggy, how he grew up. He probably didn't see that side of his dad. What he saw was his dad was a man that was loved by everyone and someone that made him feel safe. It made him feel so safe, like he put a scene in there where the first one of the opening scene was there was a drive-by and Bob Marley was playing football with Ziggy and they got in the car and he just like brushed off the
You
shoulder.
say brush it off,
Just
man.
a
Everything
normal
good,
thing.
Ziggy, man.
Let's go. Everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah, me even singing.
Yeah, and for me that was to show like
Yeah.
that shows another subcontext in Jamaica. Like we are so used to violence as well. Like there's no deep traumatic response at times. Like hearing shots being fired, you don't have that same level of fear. Like you get used to it.
Unless you've actually experienced some trauma, somebody
Yeah.
close to you dying by the gun.
Yeah.
You know? But even then, you're kinda used to it. You hear a
Kinda used
gunshot.
to it. Yeah. It becomes a normal part of life.
Yeah, which is not good. Nobody should ever get used to that. But it is what it is. you
But
know?
yeah. So that's the storyline that you're gonna get from the movie.
We
Things that you have anything more to the
the
story?
storyline.
There are things
Yeah,
that
man,
we
yeah,
felt
man.
should have been added or should have been.
Oh God, man, I wish, as in like, they can turn his life just from 1971 when he released his first album, Catch a Fire, until his last album. They can do a whole series based on the stories of every album, because every album have a different story. Rastafari,
No,
I can tell you.
that's a good point. Like Netflix, do something. You know, not Netflix, Apple, HBO.
We have to wink them.
Do something like a series on Bob Marley's life. I
Yeah.
think that would be more. That would be.
And he would better tell the story of not only Bob, the people who surrounded him, and the context of Jamaica during that time. Because some people think that Jamaica is only sunshine and breezes blowing and people drinking coconut on the beach and going to the rivers.
no
No
problem.
No.
I don't know how we get that slogan. No problem.
Because of Rastafari. because of Rastafari. Another thing is, along with those two, it would also give you a better understanding of where Bob was coming from musically. Because let me talk about the first album that brought the Wailers. Not only Bob Marley and the Wailers that
The
brought
Wailing
them.
Wailers one.
The Wailing, but they changed the name after that
Yeah.
when they went into the 70s. So the first album, Catch a Fire, that album was the first album that put reggae music on the table, because that album was the first reggae album in history. Catch a Fire. It had songs like Kinky Reggae, Concrete Jungle, which I cannot get enough of. That's one of my favorite songs of Bob Marley. Songs like Midnight Ravers. Songs like No More Trouble, We Don't Need. Yeah. All of those songs were pivotal songs in his career, and it gave you the first sound of reggae, along with a little bit mixture of rock and roll, That was Chris Blackwell's influence to kind of revamp Jamaican music and turn it into something new, along with Bob's influence. The album was majestical. It was the first reggae album coming out of Jamaica, and it did a lot of things for Jamaica. And it's that first album. You heard a lot of new sounds, as I said, coming in that album that you would not normally hear in Jamaican music. Oh, one more thing before we go along. Another one from the cast that we should have mentioned was the guitarist Junior Marvin. Very influential in Bob's career when it comes to the Wailers. He was the second guitar. The lead guitar actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
the lead
continue,
guitar.
because I had a point about him before as well.
Yeah, he was the lead guitar. He actually came in and changed the sound of Bob's music.
Continue with the other thing you were saying before you
The
jump
album?
to the other. Yeah.
All right, yeah. So that album was was a majestical album for the reggae music. It brought Jamaica into the 70s, and it brought Jamaica reggae music like to the top of the table when it comes to that.
So
And there was one thing about this album, curiously. The original photo that they posted was not the one. You know, the one with the big spliff?
yeah,
That wasn't the original photo,
yeah.
There was a photo of a lighter. So when you open the LP, it had like a lighter and it was catch a fire. So they put it into a lighter. But then later they changed the image and they put Bob with a big spliff. And I guess that was the image that even like brought curiosity to people like, wow, look at this spliff this guy is smoking. This guy must be singing something good, man. Or despite the interest to get into the music.
Okay. So
Yeah.
do you want it to see basically it's like the creation of his first album to see? Because an artist's first album kind of just like it's like your introduction.
Exactly. I wanted to see that in the movie.
Yeah, but as I said, like they didn't want. I don't think they wanted to focus too much on how he created each album because I think
those 3 years, the emotional highs in his career and his life, that's what they chose to put.
because
Which was good. I'm not complaining.
there are a lot of albums, and each album has a different message and a different sound to them.
Definitely.
Well, and the Exodus one, I think probably the sound changed the most. I would say because they had the Junior Marvin, as you said. Like when he came in, he came in with more of
a rock and roll kind of
vibes, like
yeah, man.
a ballad, a full on ballad in it.
With him perms, yeah, man. Junior Marvin, man.
Exactly. So
wicked guitarist.
So I think that change in his voice, in his tune, like a lot of people don't know a lot of that story there.
No.
As well. So I like that. I like that. And I know people might be like, well, Exodus might be the most sold one, but it's not my favorite. And you have the
personally, it's not my favorite.
Yeah, but
yeah.
it's the most sold one, and it's probably the one they're gonna want to push for marketing reasons now.
Because did you know that it was the album of the century?
Exodus.
Yeah, man. Rolling Stone put it. Times Magazine put it the album of the century, and they made this decision at the end of the century, not while it was happening. Album of the century.
So how could they have not included that one?
That's why I'm saying, man,
it's understandable.
The height of his career emotionally and musically, and so based on his success, that's what actually showed in the movie.
Okay. Another aspect though in the movie scene what was show. How do you think about the visuals? They showing Jamaica. The shot in Jamaica in the 70s.
I think they needed to do more.
What do you mean?
Let me tell you what I can remember. I remember the football field, passing through Trenchtown, his house, the waterfall, the cane field with the horse and his father in the background. And in the end, do you know who it was?
No, stop.
All right, hold on.
Divergent.
Cool. Yeah, I think they needed to add some more of Jamaica. They didn't show much of Jamaica, to be very honest. They showed more of England than Jamaica. They didn't show much of Jamaica, honestly.
I think that was done because it was hard.
It was hard to show Jamaica? In what way?
To show Jamaica how it looked in the 70s. Like, I think...
No, man, they're more than capable.
I think a majority of the movie was in Jamaica, bro. Like, if all the location changes, I would say the movie is at least 1.5, at least 45 minutes was in Jamaica.
But it all right. For me, it didn't show the Jamaica that I would want. I would have wanted them to show. For example, during the 70s, even though Bob Marley was a Rasta, and Rasta don't go party, or Rasta don't go dance. Because even Rita said it in the movie. You swim in contamination, you get contaminated. So Rasta never really into them kind of things. So I would like for them to show like what a dance would be like in the 70s. Just to give a movie so a little more culture. Even though it's not about the culture of Jamaica, it's about Bob Marley. But just to give a context of Jamaica in terms of
that might have been a good scene. But as I said, like they just showed the stage show kind of vibe. Because that's what he did.
Yeah, that's what they did.
That's what he did. Like they showed him at a point in his career where he was doing shows, stage shows, not dance events.
Yeah. So I just wanted to see that small thing to show, culture of Jamaica was back in the days,
It might have been a good addition.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about like you think like the visual representation apart from that showing the city trench down, the strawberry.
Yeah, man, they did a good job when it comes to that,
And for me, a lot of those places kind of look almost the same. Like now,
Yeah,
like the beaches and
up
the
in
Mount
Strawberry
Strawberry
Hill, for example,
looks pretty much the same.
the same road signs that you see, those signs have been around from even before I was born.
Even this house, like I picked because I like
Yeah.
remember we used to go to school like 20 minutes walking from his house, so I used to pass it every day.
By the way,
So it looked the same.
I don't think that was at one point. I don't think that was his house. Outside of it, that's not how the Bob Marley house look.
That's how it looks, bro.
No, as in like it looks like that, but they took a lot of things out. For example, in the garden, in the yard, there was something. There was, for example, they would usually have like his old cars. For example, his old Range Rover, they would have it in the yard. They used to have his old BMW in the yard. I know they like the small restaurant at the side here to the right. They didn't show any of that. They basically cleaned it out and just showed the house. The only time
there were a lot of cars in it, dog. What?
hold on,
Cars in the thing.
No, hold on.
And they did a close up of him. They didn't do an overview of the house. Like maybe
No,
you wanted a shot.
No, I mean like the yard itself. They cleared the yard to give the movie their space. The only time I saw the yard was when remember when he was singing Redemption song and then the kids came out and then Rita come out and asked him, where you find that one, Bob?
And when Rita got shot as well, they showed the gunmen coming in through the
gate. But another thing, as you say, it was in the 70s. Maybe after he died, they maybe put all of those things in, so maybe they wanted to keep it clear, like how it was in the 70s. So I'm not complaining, but I just noted like that difference, for example,
Yeah, because I think that would have been because Ziggy lived in that yard, so it would have been something too easily overlooked, and I don't want to say that.
Hold on, one thing I just noticed too. You know who we don't see in the movie?
Who?
You see Damian Marley?
No, they didn't. That's another topic.
Oh well,
they didn't show.
No,
that
wasn't that time in his life.
Yet.
Yeah, he wasn't born. Yeah, he's the youngest son.
Yeah, so
youngest lion.
So the visuals for you were good. For me,
yeah, man.
For me they were good as well. They showed a good representation of Jamaica. The way the people looked as well showed a good representation. The guns, the police,
and
uniforms.
The police saying "Dirty Rasta."
Yep, the police.
True
uniforms.
thing. Yeah.
The discrimination Rasta was facing. They had a good message. Good.
And that episode is coming to you very soon.
The discrimination of Rasta.
The discrimination of Rastafari in Jamaica.
You know, that's one of the biggest thing. Like when I was watching nowadays, like everyone that's going to the premiere, these people that go into the premiere of the movie, the elites in society, they were the ones that hated Bob Marley with a passion.
The sons of the people who used to hate Bob Marley back in those times are pushing the movie and say, wow, Bob Marley one love movie. But do they respect Rasta?
To this day.
No.
To this day. But visuals good. The costume. But a thing about the costume, I'm gonna ask you a question like this. You said that
before you ask me this question, we would like to stop and pause and ask you guys to subscribe, like, and share. Alright, here you've heard it. Go ahead.
The question is
stop. Shut a quick piece. Yaadman Podcast are the one, the Yaadman Podcast. Tell you about the Yaadman Podcast. The Yaadman Podcast. Tell you about the Yaadman Podcast. The Yaadman Podcast. Tell you about the Yaadman Podcast. The Yaadman Podcast. Tell you about the Yaadman Podcast.
subscribe now. We out.